Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and I hope you guys enjoyed this a little bit of burst, or at least found it funny. One of the things I really wanted to do is really spotlight, I guess, one of the reasons why I haven't really been dueling on the beta for the last couple of days. Ever since the scaling bug came into the game, where as a character, the less gear you wear, for some reason you do more damage to players and take less damage to players. Ever since the scaling bug came in, I've been kind of on and off on the beta. I used to just be on there all the time, doing duels, playing this class, playing that class, war mode this, war mode that, engaged in a variety of PvP. Ever since the scaling technology came in and scaling bug came in, really, I just kind of not really been touching it as much. It's fun on stream because you can get a bunch of people together that are willing to make characters that are not broken, that are not busted, that don't have any of their Azeroth necklaces and don't have a lot of their gear just taken off or whatever. A lot of people are willing to engage and come in and make characters in order to test the game and play it like how it kind of is supposed to. Nobody is willing to abuse the bug. But ever since the character copy thing was added, where you can copy your character from Legion over to BFA beta, as well as BTR, it really just made things go downhill. There are a lot of the trinkets from the Legion expansion, especially from the last raid and Taurus, a lot of the Pantheon trinkets, enchants, as well as just trinkets from almost any boss that have a proc for damage. All of them are overscaled, and they deal way too much damage. On top of it, there's also legendaries, but legendaries don't seem to be doing that much in terms of PvP or PvE. Even if people are trying to stack as many of them as possible, they only give you a little bit of a damage increase compared to what you would expect. You would think the damage would be insane, enormous, but the effect itself, I think, gets overridden somewhere. So it's not as powerful as you would expect it to be. So legendaries are not that bad, but when it comes to trinkets, some of the items, and scaling technology, scaling bug combined together, you do have an unpleasant experience where people are actually able to one-shot each other. And I understand I want World PvP to feel like a Wild West, but when people are just abusing a bug that's not meant for the game, it just muddies the experience. I know I can look past all the bugs, and I am trying to do that as best as I can. Looking past all the bugs, past all the overpowered items, past all the scaling stuff that's going on, the game is in a really good condition. Or if you were to rewind it before people find out about a scaling bug, the game was absolute blast. And that's the BFA I want to take a look at. That's the BFA that I want to look forward to. And I'm really hoping this doesn't make it into the final cut. This is a bug. This is obviously not intended, or at least I'm hoping, unless some of the developers are thinking, yeah, this is fine, but they're not telling us yet, because they've been a little bit shady and secretive in some parts of the expansion. If this does make it into the final cut, though, I am going to be a little bit sad. I'm trying to hold back any of the tears or any of the sadness, any of the saltiness, until we find out the final release, because it is the beta, and I do trust developers. They've made a great expansion of Legion. I've enjoyed it tremendously, and this is the beta to an expansion of not Warlords, but BFA. So far, I've enjoyed just about every single aspect of BFA. I like the expansion as a whole. I like the majority of the systems and changes they're making in there, and I really hope that, again, that this does not make it into the final cut. If it doesn't, then we'll have a great expansion, and I honestly want them to fix this on BFA as soon as possible. I want to go back to running around in war mode, questing and leveling characters, or as a max level 120, running around trying to see if I can gank some of the lower level characters. I want to see if I can do insane amounts of damage to everybody. I want to see if we can actually have some dueling PvP experiences outside of Armory and Stormwind again, without any of the scaling bugs or whatever. I doubt that they'll fix it in the beta, because it is the beta. Beta is a beta is a beta. We're there to test things, not really to play the game, but it was so enjoyable just running around and seeing a lot of the classes, and how majority of the classes actually are somewhat competitive when it comes to 1v1s in PvP. And that's one thing I loved about WoW and BFA. World of Warcraft has never been balanced around 1v1s. But it feels pretty great if a class has a certain build or certain honor talents that at least allow you to be somewhat competitive, or halfway competitive, or more or less competitive when it comes to 1v1 PvP systems. And to see so many classes that were pretty bad for Legion becoming all of a sudden good, to see so many casters all of a sudden become really good, and some of the melee become not as overpowered as they were, it's such a refreshing look, and I really want to go back to it without all the scaling and all the one-shots and everything. If anything, I am going to be a little bit upset if this makes it into the pre-patch, as pre-patch will be technically a first step forward into BFA. It'll be released to the public. Everybody will be able to test all of their classes for about a month. People will be able to try some of the old school zones and content, like old raids, see how the scaling system works, leveling, see how the scaling system works, PvP skirmishes, BGs, maybe even duels outside of Armory. So if we were to get a first impression of this expansion with how busted it is on the beta, I think a lot of people will be turned off and really unhappy from it. I think a lot of people will be turned off from the idea of war mode and enable it, because they'll think that if you enable war mode, you'll just get one shot by people with all these items and abusing the scaling bug. That's not that fun. If they could fix this stuff by pre-patch, which is technically when BFA is like actually there, actually available, we have the quest, we're losing our artifact weapon, the whole shindig. If they can fix the stuff by then, I think it'll be a really good turn in the right direction. I'm afraid if they don't fix it before this, then it'll just give so many people a bad sour taste in the mouth that might not even continue or go into BFA and play the final game, the final cut. And I'm really hoping they'll really hammer this down, because if this hits pre-patch, that'll be not fun. If this hits the final game at level 120, yeah, that'll be even less fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you did find the burst and the reaction that I got out of it more or less hilarious than anything. I'm not trying to complain. I'm really trying to just spotlight the issue, what I think will be good for the game, and letting you guys know, letting Blizzard know, I guess, to some extent, and just having some little bit of fun with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see all of you in another video.